If you are a man over the age of 60, I have a question for you that could be a little painful to answer. When was the most recent occasion that you experienced a morning erection that was both strong and something to be proud of? When did you wake up? Because it has been months or even years since the absence began, it feels like a silent alarm to a great number of men. There is more to it than just having sexual intercourse. This is a matter of having the strength, energy, and steadfast confidence that your body continues to operate as it should. The shocking reality of the situation is this: thousands of men in your age range are experiencing a return to normal, natural morning erections without the need of expensive drugs or risky surgical procedures. Instead, they are achieving this with something so fundamental that it almost feels absurd. Prior to retiring for the night, consume 1 teaspoon of oil. My name is Dr. Mohit Kara. I am a professor, a board-certified urologist, and a specialist in men's health issues. For more than 30 years, I have been conducting research on male hormones, circulation, and vitality. Throughout my time working at my practice, I have provided medical care to several men who believed that their manhood had been taken away from them by the aging process, only for them to discover that there was still reason to be optimistic. I do not disseminate false promises or trends that will not last. The information that I am about to impart to you is based on study, scientific principles, and real-world results. The following is a paradox. They are aware of the correct way to fuel their bodies, which is the reason why they are healthy, rather than because their bodies are young once again. For the first time in decades, men in their 70s and even 80s are waking up feeling stronger than they have in years. It is strange, isn't it, that current pharmaceuticals often fail to achieve the desired results, yet a simple cooking oil can succeed where they fail. Your body will be able to protect blood flow, restore testosterone levels, and return the natural erections that you thought you had lost for good if you take 1 tablespoon of this before going to bed. I'm going to explain you just which oil it is, why bedtime is the best time to use it, and how this practice, which you only need to do for 1 night, has the potential to alter your confidence and morning routine in an instant. Before we get started, please ensure that you have already subscribed and enabled the notification bell so that you do not miss any further guidance on men's health that is specifically targeted to your individual requirements. In addition, I would be grateful if you would share your perspective with me. If you feel that this message is relevant to you, please leave a remark. If that isn't the case, please enter zeros so that I can determine how to make these films even more valuable to you. We should get started on the most important aspects of the message that we will be hearing today. In order to properly understand how a small spoonful of oil before going to sleep may be able to help men over the age of 60 maintain their natural morning erections, we must first have a solid understanding of the scientific principles that explain why this time and procedure are so effective. The sentence that follows is a restatement of the original sentence, written in a way that is easier to understand. What is the reason for using oil before going to sleep? Throughout the decades-long course of my professional practice, I have come across men who feel frustrated, ashamed, and convinced that their bodies are simply too old to produce erections that are strong enough. Nevertheless, I have come to the conclusion, and scientific evidence continues to demonstrate, that the process of aging in and of itself is rarely the problem. Maintaining the hormone synthesis and circulation that are necessary for morning erections is a challenge for the body when it has not been given the adequate nutrition at the appropriate time. This is the fundamental issue that is at the heart of the matter. This is the reason why using oil before going to sleep may be such an effective, practically magical treatment for several ailments. This is the way things are in reality. Even when you are sleeping, your body is not at rest. Employment might be difficult. Between the hours of 10:00 p.m. and 7:00 a.m., your body works tirelessly to repair tissues, regulate hormones, and restore energy in preparation for the upcoming day. And 2 in the morning. Think of it as the night shift at a factory. Hormones such as testosterone are being generated during this time period. However, this process will only occur if the fundamental materials are accessible. Those raw constituents are what are referred to be healthy fats. If you don't have the necessary supplies, your body is similar to a factory that has nothing to work with. Regardless of the number of workers who are prepared, it is impossible to produce anything. You are replenishing the shelves just in time for production, and you are also giving them a tablespoon of the necessary oil before they go to bed. The healthy fats contained in these oils offer the foundation for the manufacture of testosterone in the body. In addition, a large number of them contain compounds that have anti-inflammatory properties. These substances assist in lowering the amount of unnoticed swelling in your pelvic tissues and blood vessels, which in turn allows your blood to circulate more efficiently to the regions where it is most necessary. What's more, your body will not have to wait for very long because oils are absorbed more quickly than a lot of other nutrients. It begins to utilize those resources almost immediately. In the past, I have had guys who were convinced that they were no longer in their prime years return with smiles on their faces weeks later and inform me that they were surprised to wake up to erections that they hadn't experienced in years. This kind of transformation begins with the awareness of this single fact. It is imperative that we act quickly. The kind of oil that you use is even more significant than the other factors. I recommend that every man begin with an extra virgin olive oil, as it is the oil that has the greatest amount of scientific evidence to support its use. Whenever guys come to me to ask where they should begin, I always encourage them to begin with extra virgin olive oil. It is not difficult to find, nor is it foreign. Yet it has some of the most powerful effects on male virility that I have ever seen in my life. After trying out a wide range of treatments from expensive prescription medications to vitamins, one of my patients, who was in his late 60s, sought my assistance. He was skeptical when I suggested something as simple as olive oil, which is an item that is readily available. Several weeks later, though, he came back to my office with a smile on his face, radiating a quiet confidence that had not been present for many years. As a result of that experience, I came to the conclusion that the most straightforward solutions are sometimes the ones that have the greatest impact on a person's life. The scientific community is overwhelmingly in support of the use of olive oil. Due to the fact that they take it on a regular basis, Mediterranean men experience some of the lowest rates of erectile dysfunction anywhere in the world. In a matter of only 3 months, men who consistently eat olive oil can raise their testosterone levels by almost 20%, according to study. The increase that we are talking about is equivalent to that of some of the most frequently prescribed medications. On the other hand, olive oil is not only a source of the fundamental chemicals that are required for the production of hormones. It contains polyphenols, which are powerful antioxidants that prevent testosterone from deteriorating or transforming into estrogen. In other words, olive oil not only assists in elevating your testosterone levels, but it also aids in maintaining them at a consistent level. If you are looking to achieve the best results, quality is of utmost importance. Your preference is an oil that has been cold-pressed only once and is bottled in dark-colored glass, with the date of the harvest clearly printed on the label. Freshness is of the utmost importance because it is at that time that the polyphenols exhibit their greatest strength. Take a single spoonful approximately 1 hour before you intend to go to sleep. It is possible to mix it with lemon juice or drizzle it over a very little slice of bread. Alternatively, it can be swallowed whole. The key is to maintain consistency throughout the evenings, every night, so that your body is able to build up resilience and strength from the inside out. I have been informed by men that they sleep more soundly and have more pleasant nights, and then, practically out of nowhere, they experience strong, reliable erections in the morning. Nevertheless, olive oil is merely the initial stage in the process. It is true that it both protects and generates hormones, but there are other oils that possess particular qualities that enable them to target circulation and inflammation in ways that olive oil cannot. Castor oil is one of the most surprising of all oils. When I mention castor oil, most men are surprised because it has been primarily known for a long time as an old-fashioned remedy for constipation. Nevertheless, this thick, golden oil possesses an entirely different kind of power when it is used appropriately and in the perfect dosage. I will never forget one of my patients, a man in his 70s who had been suffering from both weak erections and continuous pain in his pelvic region. He had tried using medicines, but they had little effect and created unpleasant consequences. When I suggested that he take a very small amount of castor oil before going to sleep, he raised his eyebrows in disbelief. He was overjoyed when he called me 3 weeks later, and he told me that he had experienced his first morning erection in more than 5 years without the use of any medication. The call that I received served as a reminder of the unrealized potential of this particular oil. The answer lies in its chemistry. Castor oil is composed of racinoleic acid, which is a unique type of fatty acid that possesses extremely effective anti-inflammatory properties. Racinoleic acid constitutes more than 90% of the total volume of castor oil. If it is used in very little quantities, it does not have any effects that are similar to those of a laxative. Instead, it has the ability to infiltrate tissues and enter them to a significant degree, which reduces the quiet inflammation that develops as people get older, when they have poor circulation, or when edema builds up in the pelvis. This edema is the result of sitting for long periods of time over the course of several decades. This is a significant issue because one of the primary impediments to attaining a healthy erection is the inflammation that surrounds the prostate and pelvic arteries. Castor oil, when consumed in the early morning hours, is beneficial in that it assists the body in the process of circulating blood to the appropriate areas by lowering blood pressure, eliminating lymphatic fluid, and re-establishing blood flow. When it comes to success, moderation is essential. A therapeutic dose of warm water or milk is considered to be 1/2 to 1 teaspoon, and it should be had approximately 1 hour before going to bed. In order to avoid contamination, you should go with organic cold-pressed oil that is free of hexane. I have to admit that I am not a fan of the flavor, but if you combine it with honey or follow it with something that has a moderate flavor, it is not too bad. When men begin to experience improved urination, a decrease in pelvic heaviness, and the long-awaited return of morning erections, the bitterness that they feel in the short term is also worth it. Nevertheless, castor oil is only one component of the overall scenario. Coconut oil is a completely distinct sort of oil that provides the body with energy in a way that is completely different from other types of oils. Despite the fact that it has a significant impact on inflammation, it is not the same as other types of oils. It stimulates the synthesis of hormones and facilitates healing during the night by utilizing a particular kind of fat. 4. To be able to make sure that the quality of service remains consistent, it is necessary to have a sufficient number of employees. I began to investigate the consequences of coconut oil on hormone balance and male vitality, and I found out that it was able to provide something that was truly unique and exceptional. Coconut oil is an example of one of those ordinary household products that the majority of men do not pay attention to. After enduring years of languid mornings and a decreasing libido, one patient who was in his mid-60s arrived at my clinic in a state of exhaustion. He told me that, at nighttime, he would have the feeling that the engine was running on fumes and that his body had slowed down to a snail's pace. When I suggested that he make use of coconut oil before going to sleep, he cast a dubious glance in my direction. But after a few weeks, he noticed a change in how he felt in the morning. He stated that he awoke with a feeling of energy that was lighter and clearer than he had ever experienced before, and he thought that it was a kind of vitality that only younger men possessed. That motivation also resulted in another unanticipated consequence, which was stronger morning erections. The answer lies in the way that coconut oil is metabolized. In contrast to the majority of other fats, coconut oil contains a high concentration of medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs. The The liver rapidly converts them into energy that may be used by the body instead of storing them in the form of fat. When you ingest coconut oil before going to sleep, your body has a readily available supply of fuel for hormone production, tissue healing, and cellular repair throughout the critical overnight window. In addition to that, it contains lauric acid, which is a chemical that possesses both natural antibacterial characteristics and the ability to reduce low-grade inflammation in the urinary and digestive systems. Moreover, reducing inflammation is essential for strong and consistent erections because it is one of the invisible adversaries of blood flow and nerve activity. The most effective method of utilizing coconut oil is to begin with a tiny quantity. Take 1 teaspoon of this before you go to sleep at night. You should slowly raise the amount to a tablespoon if your body can tolerate it. Whenever it is possible, you should use coconut oil that is virgin, cold-pressed, and organic. When the product has not been processed too much, it will continue to have a faint coconut aroma. It is possible for men to consume it as is, mix it with cinnamon, or melt it into a warm cup of tea. As always, the most important thing is to be consistent. Your metabolism is accelerated, testosterone production is increased, and the perfect environment for strong, energizing mornings is created when you consume coconut oil. There is a different form of oil that can provide you with a different kind of power, even while it is true that it provides you with energy that burns quickly. Your prostate is protected by this oil, and your testicles receive essential minerals as a result of its use. The oil that is truly exceptional is pumpkin seed oil. 5. The following list includes all of the items that are currently available for sale. Pumpkin seed oil is one of the most underrated and valuable resources when it comes to maintaining men's health. Be that as it may, it holds a special position in the recommendations that I make. I once assisted a man in his late 60s who was getting up 3 or 4 times during the night to go to the restroom. He was exhausted, enraged, and confident that his prostate problems had deprived him of his intimacy and sleep. Before he went to bed for the night, I recommended that he drink a very small teaspoon of pumpkin seed oil. He told me that he had been sleeping through the night more often than he had in the past, that the condition of his urine had improved, and that, much to his surprise, he had started experiencing erections in the morning again. All of this had occurred in a couple of weeks. His expression of relief made it clear to me that the oil was potent, and I was reminded of this fact. What makes pumpkin seed oil so unique is that it has a combination of both essential nutrients and compounds that provide protection. It is one of the most excellent natural sources of zinc, which is a crucial component in the creation of testosterone in the testes. When zinc levels are low, the production of testosterone slows to a crawl. Pumpkin seed oil is not only an excellent source of zinc, but it also contains beneficial lipids that make it easier for the body to absorb the zinc. Additionally, it contains phytosterols, which are chemicals that originate in plants and are known to reduce inflammation of the prostate, as well as improve the flow of urine. Men who regularly use pumpkin seed oil report improved prostate health overall, fewer trips to the bathroom during the night, and reduced discomfort in the pelvic region, according to research. In addition, when the prostate is in good health, everything in that region, including sexual performance, operates with more ease. The flavor of pumpkin seed oil is deep and nutty, and many men genuinely enjoy it. The recommended dosage is between 1 and 2 tablespoons before going to bed. It is possible to eat it by itself, mix it with yogurt, or drizzle it over a light snack in the evening. In order to ensure that cold-pressed oil retains its deep, green hue and potency, it is important to constantly look for it in dark bottles and to store it in the refrigerator. Pumpkin seed oil is used to make the foundation stronger. It helps maintain the health of your prostate and supports your hormones. Nevertheless, there are a significant number of guys who are not familiar with an alternative kind of oil that provides immediate protection and revitalization for the cells in your testicles that are responsible for making testosterone. For thousands of years, black seed oil has been a staple in traditional healing practices. 6. It is essential that the necessary measures be taken in order to ensure that the situation does not worsen. Of all of the oils that I have experimented with, Nigella sativa, sometimes known as black seed oil, is the oil that most often shocks males. Although it has been recognized as a cure-all for everything save for death in the Middle East for millennia, it is only recently that Western medicine has begun to give it the scientific consideration that it deserves. There was one man I knew who was in his early 70s and had nearly abandoned all hope of having a sexual life again. He conveyed to me that he got the impression that his body had suddenly stopped functioning and that the vitality he had once had was gone for good. I did not suggest that he try black seed oil as a magical cure-all. I offered it as a natural treatment for his malfunctioning system. He returned after a few months with a fresh sense of self-assurance and vitality, reporting that his morning erections had returned to normal. 7. To make the most of your time, it is important to prioritize your tasks and work on the most important ones first. The chemical compound that provides black seed oil with its potency is known as thymoquinone, and it is present in the oil. This naturally occurring antioxidant directly protects the Leydig cells, which are found in the testicles and are responsible for the production of testosterone. As time goes on, oxidative stress gradually diminishes their ability to operate, which leads to a reduction in hormone levels and weaker erections. Black seed oil not only protects these cells, but it also helps them recover and perform better. Clinical study has demonstrated that regular use of this product is associated with a variety of positive effects, including improvements in libido, erectile strength, and sperm quality, as well as increases in testosterone levels of up to 20%. For males who are experiencing difficulty with insulin resistance, which is another issue that is common among people in their 60s, black seed oil offers an additional advantage. One of the most rapid methods of reducing testosterone levels is through poor blood sugar regulation. This is because it enhances insulin sensitivity, which is a necessary component of the body. The flavor of black seed oil is strong, peppery, and slightly bitter. Many men would prefer to either combine a teaspoon of oil with honey or take a high-quality liquid tablet before going to sleep at night. When combining the oil with honey, it is important to ensure that the oil is cold-pressed and organic, and that the label on the bottle specifies that it contains at least 1 to 2%. It is essential to have thymoquinone. As a result, both the potency and the consequences are assured. The belief that decline was unavoidable was held by males, but black seed oil offered them a sense of optimism by re-establishing the testosterone production mechanism. On the other hand, cell restoration and protection is only one component of the larger issue. Fish oil is yet another type of oil that, when used in conjunction with these benefits, has the potential to significantly improve the health of blood vessels and blood circulation. 7. To make the most of your time, it is important to prioritize your tasks and work on the most important ones first. When men think about their sexual health, fish oil is hardly the first thing that comes to mind. However, in the many years that I have been working in this field, I have observed that it subtly enhances erections while also improving overall vitality. An individual in his late 60s with whom I used to work experienced constant weariness and a lack of morning stiffness. His efforts to improve his health included experimenting with natural remedies, increasing his amount of exercise, and altering his diet. However, these efforts produced only small improvements. When I recommended that he start taking a fish oil supplement of good quality every night, he was reluctant to do so. After all, he had heard that it was mostly used for heart health. However, few weeks after that, he communicated to me that he had more consistent energy, his focus was improved, and his mornings were revitalized. In fact, his erections had returned with an unexpectedly strong vigor. The reason that fish oil is so advantageous is primarily due to the omega-3 fatty acids that it contains, particularly EPA and DHA. Systemic inflammation is reduced by these drugs, which over time causes the blood vessels to gradually break down. By minimizing the amount of inflammation, fish oil helps blood vessels remain open and flexible, which in turn enhances circulation to the most critical areas of the body in the early hours of the morning. In particular, DHA helps to strengthen the walls of such vessels, which makes them more resistant to damage. As a result, there is better oxygen supply, enhanced blood flow, and erections that are more constant and stronger. Additionally, omega-3 fatty acids have a role in maintaining nerve function, which ensures that the sensitive signals that are transmitted between the body and the brain remain sharp as people grow older. In order to reap the benefits, high quality, and appropriate dosage, you should select pharmaceutical-grade fish oil that has been refined and tested for the presence of mercury, as well as other contaminants. The most effective way to consume it is 2 to 3 grams before going to sleep, and it appears that taking it at night reduces the fishy aftertaste that some men find irritating. It must be kept in the refrigerator in order to preserve its effectiveness and freshness. By strengthening the foundation of both neurological function and circulation, fish oil makes the effects of all other oils you eat more potent. That being said, the selection of the appropriate oils is only one aspect of the challenge. The real magic happens when you figure out how to include them into a simple evening routine that maximizes the advantages while also making sure that your body gets all it needs. And I intend to demonstrate that to you. 8. Make sure to check the expiration dates on all of your food products to ensure that they are still safe to consume. Suggested protocol. One of the most significant errors that I observe guys making is attempting to do everything at once, only to give up when they feel overwhelmed. The truth of the matter is that the most effective method for your body is to take consistent, regular steps. For a number of years, I have been working on developing a simple technique that allows men to gradually and safely incorporate these oils into their routine. This allows them to acquire momentum without experiencing any feelings of pressure to do so. I was working with a man in his early 70s who was interested in testing all 6 of the oils during the same week. I gave him the advice to take it easy, reminding him that rehabilitation is a process that takes time and not a race to be won. He began to see significant improvements in his health within a few weeks of adhering to the technique in the manner that I instructed, and he also managed to steer clear of any issues with his intestines. Consistency and simplicity are essential during the first week. When it comes to oil, I typically recommend that you begin with just one type, and I frequently propose that you use extra virgin olive oil. Every night, your body will be provided with a pleasant and well-known base if you take 1 tablespoon of it before going to bed. You have the option of either alternating between 2 different types of oil or incorporating another oil by the 2nd week. To provide an example, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you can use olive oil, and on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, you can use pumpkin seed oil. This makes it possible for each oil to carry out its function while simultaneously supplying your body with a variety of different nutrients. As you progress into the 3rd week and beyond, you will be able to find the rhythm that works best for you. There are some guys who find that they get the most benefits when they limit themselves to using only 2 different oils, but others prefer to switch between 3 or 4 oils in order to gain access to a greater variety of advantages. My ideal combination for many males is to apply castor oil once a week, pumpkin seed oil twice a week, coconut oil once a week, and olive oil and black seed oil 3 evenings a week. This approach is capable of addressing inflammation, circulation, hormone production, and prostate health at the same time without placing an undue burden on the system. Think of this as the beginning of a personal routine that eventually becomes second nature, similar to the way you brush your teeth every night before you go to sleep. Long-term transformation is achieved as a result of regularly engaging in minor tasks. After you have made a commitment to following a procedure, the next reasonable question to ask is how quickly you can expect to see the benefits and what you should expect to encounter along the way. 9. The information that is contained in the letter is accurate and reliable. Timeline and expected results. How much time will it take before I begin to see changes? One of the very first questions that men ask me is that one. I understand why you are feeling impatient. When you have been without morning erections for months or even years, each day that passes serves as a reminder of all that you have lost. Nevertheless, It is my experience that if you supply your body with the essential components it needs, you will often find that the transformation you are hoping for will come to pass more quickly than you could have expected. During the first week, the majority of men see small improvements that are nevertheless beneficial. Deeper sleep, a more tranquil mind, and more constant energy levels in the morning are all typical results of this. Your body is communicating to you that it is receiving the raw nutrients that it has been deficient in for some time. It is not uncommon for anything significant to take place during the second or third week. According to men, when they awaken, they have erections that are more frequent and vigorous than they typically do. This is sufficient to remind them that their bodies are capable of reacting, even though this is not the case every morning. It is a powerful moment that restores both confidence and hope. Between the 4th and 6th weeks, improvements usually begin to stabilize. During the day, endurance increases. During intimate moments, the sensations that are experienced are more intense. In addition, erections in the morning happen more often. The benefits often increase over time, becoming more pronounced by the 2nd or 3rd month. Blood flow is improved. Hormones are responsible for regulation. Furthermore, there is a continued reduction in the amount of inflammation. Many men have told me that, at this time in their lives, they feel as if they are years younger. This is not just in the bedroom, but also in their whole vigor and perspective on life. It is essential to remember that the results will vary. The speed at which men react may vary based on a variety of factors, including their general health, their degree of stress, the quality of their sleep, and the medications they are taking. On the other hand, I have discovered that men who remain consistent rarely go for 2 entire months without witnessing any noteworthy changes. Patience and persistence are the keys to success. The capacity of your body to mend itself is quite remarkable, provided that you take good care of it. While the timeline is intended to serve as a guide, there are a number of obstacles that could result in these outcomes being delayed or perhaps prevented from happening at all. The subsequent step that is of the utmost importance is the acknowledgement of those barriers, which will allow you to avoid them and continue moving forward with confidence. 10. The fact that people are willing to put their lives on the line in order to defend their beliefs is something that I find truly remarkable. Factors that have an impact on the results. Throughout the years, I have come to the realization that establishing the appropriate environment for your nutrients to operate in your body is equally as critical as the things that you consume. Even though some men follow the oil protocol with great care, they do not observe any positive changes. In contrast, those who adhere to the same practice notice changes almost immediately. The distinction often comes down to factors that go unobserved, which either accelerate or inhibit the achievement of desired results. Consistency is the first one. Your body is able to thrive when it follows a routine. Bypassing evenings or frequently switching oils could potentially interrupt the steady supply of nutrients that is essential to the creation and repair of hormones. I was informed by one patient who was in his mid-60s at the time that he only took the oils when he remembered to do so. As was to be expected, his outcomes were not as good as others. After he made a commitment to himself to work on it every night, he finally saw his progress come to fruition. Sleep is yet another significant element that needs to be taken into consideration. Growth hormone and testosterone are most effectively produced during the deepest stages of sleep. The 5 hours of sleep that you are getting every night, as well as the interruption of your sleep caused by sleep apnea, are not totally compensated for by any amount of oil in the world. Sleep difficulties are often addressed in order to unlock the full potential of this treatment. In addition, drugs have an effect. It is a well-established fact that several blood pressure drugs, statins, and antidepressants can have an impact on sexual performance. Oils can assist in counteracting some of the effects of the fight, despite the fact that it is more difficult to overcome the uphill battle. Therefore, it is imperative that you have a discussion with your physician about potential alternatives or modifications if you believe that the medication you are taking is hindering your progress. Stress is possibly the most overlooked factor of all the factors that are involved. When stress is sustained, the amount of cortisol in the body increases. Cortisol is a hormone that directly inhibits testosterone production. I have seen men who were experiencing a significant amount of stress make little to no progress until they began to employ simple breathing exercises, prayer, or relaxation techniques. Their bodies responded almost immediately as the stress was alleviated. Finally, alcohol interferes with hormone synthesis and the quality of sleep, especially during the late hours of the night. Even the smallest amounts of something can reverse the results of your efforts. You can improve your odds of achieving success if you are cognizant of these obstacles and make the necessary changes to your plan. However, in addition to avoiding any errors, you may improve your performance on a daily basis by using proactive practices that are simple to incorporate into your routine. The topic that we will discuss next is exactly that. 11. The question of whether or not to let the child have a pet is a difficult one to answer. Additional advice that will be of great assistance. After spending years assisting men in their journey down this road, I have come to the conclusion that, despite the fact that oils provide the foundation, the benefits can be considerably increased by incorporating small daily rituals into their lives. Think of it as being akin to gardening. If you do not supply the seeds you have planted with the attention, sunlight, and water that they require, the seeds will never develop to their full potential, even if you have planted the correct seeds. There is no difference between your body and theirs. One of the most simple yet powerful habits is to make sure that you are getting enough fluids. The viscosity of your blood has an impact on how well your blood circulates throughout your body. When you are feeling thirsty, your erections suffer and your circulation slows down. Every day, you should consume water equal to half of your body weight in ounces in order to ensure that your blood continues to flow freely. This was something that one patient in particular disregarded until I insisted that he make a commitment that would only last for 14 days. He felt as though his body was significantly lighter, that it was more responsive, and that it was more active. One further method for achieving positive results is to strengthen the pelvic floor by performing Kegel exercises. These simple contractions, which feel like you are stopping the flow of urine when it is in midstream, are designed to particularly target the muscles that are responsible for maintaining erections. I have seen guys in their 70s regain their strength and firmness from my own observations after doing these workouts on a daily basis. Morning sunshine is an additional ally that is frequently overlooked. Within an hour of waking up, a little 20 minutes of light exposure is enough to regulate your circadian cycle, which in turn causes an increase in the production of testosterone. Men often tell me that they feel more alive, sharper, and more in tune with their own bodies when they make a commitment to this small endeavor. Finally, make sure that you protect your evenings. Due to the fact that it interacts with melatonin, which is a hormone that is necessary for regulating sleep, blue light that is emitted by screens should be avoided in the evening. This is because blue light exposure at night can impair the quality of sleep you get. A patient once told me that reading in low light rather than watching late-night television improved the quality of his sleep and increased the efficacy of the oils he was taking at the time. Your body will be able to thrive if you take these straightforward, feasible steps to establish the foundation for its growth. When you utilize them in conjunction with the oils that you apply at night, the difference becomes much more noticeable. Nevertheless, the expense is undoubtedly the most compelling reason in favor of consistency, as there is a significant price difference between these natural oils and the alternatives that are available. 12. When it comes to the issue of the environment, there are a variety of perspectives that people hold. The cost versus benefit analysis is among the most common grievances that I hear from guys. The high expense of standard treatments is a major concern for them. The cost of a single dose of prescription medication for erectile dysfunction might range anywhere from $30 to $60. Despite this, the consequences are only temporary and are typically accompanied by negative symptoms such as a racing heart or headaches. Testosterone replacement therapy, which is another popular choice, may cost anywhere from $200 to $500 per month, in addition to the injections, medical checkups, and continual monitoring that are required. Men have looked me straight in the eye and told me that they felt stuck. They had spent a lot of money on temporary confidence boosts while simultaneously worrying about the long-term repercussions on their health. As a result, these oils give the impression that they are a great discovery. The price of a 1-month supply of high-quality black seed oil, pumpkin seed oil, or olive oil can range anywhere from $40 to $60. That comes up to less than $2 every day. Unlike medications, which force your body into a temporary reaction, these oils provide nourishment from the inside out, addressing the root causes of weak erections. They improve circulation, reduce inflammation, encourage the production of hormones, and boost overall well-being in ways that no one medication can. In addition to restoring their morning erections, I have witnessed guys reporting that they have experienced sharper memories, calmer emotions, and an increase in their energy levels throughout the day. This is another way to think about it. Instead of purchasing a cup of coffee, you could spend that money on something that will increase your energy levels, safeguard your prostate, provide support for your heart, and restore the self-assurance that you believed you would never have again. That is not considered to be a cost. This particular investment is one of the most worthwhile investments you can make in yourself. On the other hand, there is something that is far more important than both price and ease of use: the possibility of regaining a part of your masculinity that many people believe is lost as a result of aging. And as we bring everything together at the conclusion of this speech, that is exactly where I would like to take you. Conclusion: I would like you to take a moment to really absorb what you have heard as I reflect on the journey that we have taken together in this message. For many men over the age of 60, the disappearance of morning erections is similar to a door closing, as if their masculinity, vitality, and energy had quietly faded away. I have worked in my office for a long time, and I have had the opportunity to sit across from a number of men who have trusted me enough to tell me that they were experiencing feelings of shame and even defeat. They were under the impression that this stage of their lives was truly over. On the other hand, I have personally witnessed the same people regain their vitality by incorporating a tablespoon of the correct oil into their diet before they go to sleep. We've discussed the reasons that time is significant, the reasons that oils are especially effective during the night, and how each one has a unique advantage. Coconut oil, which provides the body with energy that is consumed quickly and aids in nighttime restoration. Castor oil, which alleviates pelvic tightness and reduces inflammation, and olive oil, which is a dependable source of testosterone, are all examples of products that have been shown by scientific research to be beneficial to the human body. Consuming pumpkin seed oil, which is high in zinc, can help protect your prostate and encourage the production of testosterone in your body. Black seed oil, which has the ability to repair the cells that produce hormones in the first place. In addition, fish oil helps to keep blood vessels and nerves in good health and responsive. We have supplied you with a comprehensive timeline so that you will have an idea of what to expect. A simple procedure in order to prevent you from feeling overwhelmed, and a clear picture of the obstacles that have the potential to stand in your way. We've incorporated a number of strategies to help you achieve better results, including daily routines, water, pelvic floor exercises, exposure to sunlight, and improved sleep. Finally, we demonstrated to you that long-lasting improvement does not have to be prohibitively expensive by comparing and contrasting the cost of these natural oils with the shockingly high prices of prescription medications and treatments. However, in spite of all the numbers and statistics, here is what is truly important. In my experience, these modifications have restored far more than just erections. They assist individuals in regaining their self-assurance. They restore a sense of intimacy. When a man discovers that the process of aging has not taken away all that he possesses, the spark in his eyes returns. Due to that spark, I am sharing this message with you at this time. We all grow as a result of sharing with each other, so please take the time to share what you learned today and what changes you are prepared to make in the comments section provided below. We should provide one another with assistance. If you found this film to be beneficial in any way, or if it even marginally broadened your perspective, please show your appreciation by clicking the like button. Make sure that you do not overlook any information that could impact your health by clicking on the subscribe button. Make sure to ring the bell before you leave. If you found this video to be beneficial, please input the number 1. Otherwise, put in a 0. The importance of the statement that you made might not be clear to you. You are now responsible for making the decision. You have the option of continuing on the same path, in which case you must accept that your body will inevitably deteriorate with time. Alternatively, you can commit to exerting consistent effort over a period of 30 days in order to determine what your body is still capable of accomplishing. This can be done by taking it one spoonful at a time. Every morning, you can look forward to being reminded that you are still powerful, competent, and very much alive and well. As a result, I dare you to make that leap of faith. If this message resonated with you, please forward it on to another man who would benefit from hearing it. We have dedicated our lives to the pursuit of professional success, the establishment of families, and the provision of care for other people. It is essential that we take care of ourselves in this moment. Your body is ready to take action at any time. The single question that remains to be asked is whether or not you are ready to begin.